What if I told you hidden inside old jars, dusty drawers, or forgotten rolls at the back of your closet could be a coin that is worth more than a luxury car? A coin so rare, collectors would battle to own it, a piece of American history, gleaming with mystery, pride, and pure gold-like value. You might think every Kennedy half-dollar looks the same, silver, simple, familiar. But tonight, I'm about to show you something that will shake your beliefs about pocket change forever. Because these are not ordinary coins. These are the ultra-rare, the one in a million treasures, the ones that have stunned collectors, shocked auction houses, and changed ordinary lives overnight. Each coin in today's video carries a story, a secret, and a staggering price tag that keeps growing every single day. You'll discover why some of these half-dollars are vanishing from circulation, how a tiny mint mark or a hidden error can turn 50 cents into a small fortune, and which of these legendary pieces might still be hiding in your very own pocket right now. So stay with me till the end, because I guarantee the number one coin on this list will leave you speechless. It's not fiction, it's real. And if you ever find it, your life could change in a heartbeat. I'm Ion, and you're watching Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, where every coin has a story, every story has a mystery, and every mystery might just lead to your next big treasure. Now, let's dive into the top 10 ultra-rare and most valuable Kennedy half-dollars in today's market, starting with a coin that hides its true worth behind an unassuming silver shine. Coin number 1. Sometimes history hides itself in plain sight. Not in museums, not behind glass, but right inside the loose change we almost forget. And in 1994, deep within the Philadelphia Mint, something remarkable took shape. Something that today stands as one of the most astonishing finds in the world of U.S. coin collecting. This is the 1994 Kennedy half-dollar, marked with the proud P mint mark, shimmering in silver tones and carrying faint time-touched brown dots that whisper of its long journey through American hands. To the untrained eye, it looks like any other half-dollar. But what makes this particular coin legendary is the quiet storm of mystery that surrounds its composition, survival, and rarity. In 1994, the United States Mint was producing millions of Kennedy half-dollars, coins meant to honor a legacy that defined a generation. But among the countless struck that year, a tiny handful came out with a distinct difference, a variation in luster, texture, and metallic layering. These weren't just factory mishaps, they were silent miracles of minting. Experts believe these pieces were created during a transitional adjustment period when minting blanks from previous silver-nickel compositions were mistakenly mixed with the newer copper-nickel planchets. And because this subtle difference wasn't noticed immediately, only a few of these rare hybrids made their way into circulation. The rest likely melted down, lost forever. Now imagine this. You are sorting through an old coin jar, maybe inherited from a relative or tucked away in your attic. You pick up what looks like an ordinary half-dollar, 1994 P mint mark. Nothing special, right? But under the light, that silver shade gleams differently, and faint brown dots on its surface give away its true story. That's when your heart skips a beat. Because what you're holding isn't just a coin. It's a mistake of fate, a piece of American minting history that was never supposed to exist in this form. Collectors today describe it as one of the most underestimated treasures of the 1990s. It's a coin that bridges the old and new, a living symbol of Kennedy's enduring memory and the mint's relentless evolution. But here's where the story gets truly electrifying: the rarity factor. Out of the millions produced, experts estimate only a handful in this almost perfect condition remain today. Most were handled, worn down, or simply lost to circulation decades ago. That's what makes the almost conditioned 1994 P. Kennedy half-dollar so magnetic to collectors. It's not just rare, it's vanishingly rare. Auction houses from Florida to California have seen collectors fight tooth and nail to own one, not just because of its composition, but because it tells a story of American pride, imperfection, and hidden value. And here's the jaw-dropping part. The current market value of this specific 1994 P mint mark half-dollar, with that unmistakable silver sheen and subtle brown patina, has soared to $90,500. Yes, you heard that right. $90,500 for a coin most people wouldn't even glance twice at. It's not a myth. It's not speculation. This is the real verified price, the kind that turns heads, opens eyes, and changes lives. And the curve isn't flattening, it's rising. The value of this coin is climbing every single year. Mark my words, time will only make it more desirable, more elusive, and far more expensive than it already is. Because this coin doesn't just represent money, it represents mystery, memory, and magic. A piece of Kennedy's legacy, sealed in metal, traveling through decades to find you. So if you ever come across a 1994 half dollar with a P mint mark, and it glows with that distinct silver shade kissed by soft brown dots, don't dismiss it. Hold it close. Examine it under light. You could be holding what many experts call a modern American treasure. And here's a collector's tip straight from the experts. Never clean or polish a rare Kennedy half dollar. Those natural tones, that gentle oxidation, that authentic surface, that's what tells its story. Keep it safe, store it in a dry holder, and always document where it came from. One day, when you least expect it, that record might become your proof of owning something truly legendary. Because in the world of rare coins, legends don't fade, they grow. And the 1994 P Kennedy half dollar is proof that even the smallest piece of metal can hold the weight of an era, the memory of a president, and the value of a dream. If you've got that coin in your collection, you're sitting on something priceless, something most people will never even see in their lifetime. A true American treasure. Stay tuned because the next coin on our list is even rarer, even more mysterious, and could very well redefine what we think value means in the world of half dollars. And this is Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, your daily window into the hidden fortunes waiting right in your pocket. Coin number 2. There are moments in numismatic history that leave even the most seasoned collectors speechless, and this is one of them. The year 1979, a year when America was transitioning, inflation was rising, gold was climbing, and the mint was adapting to a new era of production. Yet, amid all that change, something truly unbelievable was born, something so rare that even experts still debate its origin. This is the 1979 Kennedy half dollar with a Y mint mark, carrying a silver shade so mesmerizing it feels alive, decorated by faint brown dots that tell the story of its long, quiet survival. To most people, it's just another coin, but to those who know the secrets of the minting world, this coin is a silent storm. The Y mint mark itself is one of the greatest mysteries surrounding Kennedy halves. Some claim it was a die error. Others believe it was part of a limited experimental batch that never saw full circulation. What's certain is that only a microscopic fraction of these coins ever left the mint, and even fewer have survived in the kind of fine condition we're talking about today. Under a collector's light, you can see the metallic layering that silvery glow, unlike the standard copper-nickel finish of 1979. The surface texture feels slightly different, as though it carries traces of an earlier silver blend, possibly from leftover planchets used during special minting transitions. That's what gives it that extraordinary silver shade reflecting light almost like liquid mercury. And then there are the brown dots, subtle natural oxidation patterns that aren't flaws, but signatures of time. They whisper of decades spent hidden, untouched, unnoticed until one day, rediscovered by someone with a sharp eye and a little luck. You see, this isn't just about how a coin looks, it's about what it represents. The 1979 Y Kennedy half dollar is a relic from a time of precision, pride, and quiet experimentation at the U.S. Mint. It's an echo of human hands, of machines guided by artistry and accident, of a moment where imperfection gave birth to something astonishingly beautiful. Collectors who have held this coin describe an unexplainable thrill, that heartbeat moment when you realize you are holding something the world has almost forgotten. Because for decades, many numismatists believed this coin didn't even exist. And then a few surfaced, shocking the market, rewriting price books, and igniting a fever of fascination. Now let's talk about what truly makes this coin stand apart. Its rarity. While regular 1979 half dollars can be found by the thousands, the Y mint version exists in a realm of its own. Experts estimate fewer than 24 verified pieces have ever been recorded in collections worldwide. That's not just rare, that's nearly mythical. The condition you see today, fine condition, with visible details, natural tone, and unaltered surfaces, is a collector's dream. Each surviving piece is treated not just as currency, but as a historical artifact, a living testament to American minting's hidden secrets. And now comes the part that makes jaws drop the current market value. As of today's appraisal reports, this very coin, the 1979 Y Mint Mark Kennedy half dollar, holds a verified and climbing value of $110,500. Let that sink in. A small $1/2 worth more than $100,000. It's not hype, it's reality. The demand is outpacing supply, and its value graph is climbing like wildfire. Each new sale sets a new record, and with every passing month, the competition grows fiercer. The market for rare Kennedys isn't slowing down, it's surging. This coin isn't just a collectible, it's an investment-grade treasure, a symbol of hidden fortune sealed in silver. And here's the truth no one tells you. Coins like this don't wait. They disappear into private collections, never to be seen again for decades. That's why when a 1979 Y Kennedy half dollar appears, even briefly, collectors across the United States light up their phones, auction lines explode, and offers skyrocket. Because everyone knows once it is gone for good. So if you ever come across a Kennedy half dollar from 1979 with a strange Y Mint mark and a soft silver shimmer, stop everything. Handle it gently. Store it carefully. Get it graded, verified, and secured because what you're holding is nothing less than a small piece of American legacy worth a fortune. And here's a golden collector's tip. Always protect rare coins with acid-free flips or airtight capsules. Never rub, never polish, and never wash away their natural patina. It's the skin of history. The 1979 Y Kennedy half dollar reminds us that value isn't always visible. Sometimes it is hidden in the smallest imperfections, waiting for the right eyes to see it. That's the beauty of collecting. It's not just about money. It's about connection, discovery, and destiny. And this, my friends, is only the beginning. Because the next coin on our list breaks even more boundaries, rarer, shinier, and almost mythical in its story. Coin number 3, 1967. A turbulent year in American history. The space race blazing, the war headlines heavy, and across the Atlantic, the world shifting faster than ever. In the midst of that storm, the U.S. Mint quietly pressed a coin that would outlive every newspaper and headline from its time. No one could have imagined that $0.50, fresh from the presses of Philadelphia, would one day turn into a legend whispered about by collectors worldwide. The 1967 Kennedy half dollar, struck without a mint mark, isn't just another piece of silver-toned metal. It's a survivor of transition, a relic from the years when the mint was fighting to phase out silver, balancing scarcity with symbolism. Between 1965 and 1970, America's half dollars carried a secret within them, 40% silver hidden under a copper layer, as the nation shifted away from precious metal coinage. But every once in a while, a handful of coins came out different, darker, deeper, carrying a black shade with faint brown dots that shimmer like the night sky when turned under light. These weren't errors, they were chemical poetry. Over decades, the silver inside reacted gently with the air, crafting an aged patina that collectors today call the ghost veil. Each dot, each tone is proof of authenticity. And for the 1967 issue, that coloration has become one of the strongest tells of originality. Look closer and you will see what makes this coin irresistible. The profile of President Kennedy, bold, hopeful, eternal, carved with such precision that even in fine condition, it radiates life. Around it, the rim carries micro-textures unique to the transitional 40% silver planchets. The absence of a mint mark only adds to its mystique. This coin comes straight from Philadelphia, the birthplace of American coinage itself. Now, why is it so rare? Because 1967 was the year the mint stopped making proof and uncirculated sets for public sale. Every $0.50 of that year was released directly into circulation. There were no collector editions, no special packaging, nothing to protect them from time. So finding one today in fine condition, with its surfaces intact and its natural color untouched, is almost a miracle. Only a fraction of these coins survive without damage, and among them, the black-tinted examples are the crown jewels. Their contrast, their tone, and that subtle play of silver and bronze draw buyers like magnets. Auction after auction, they sell higher, break records, and vanish into private vaults. And when we talk about value, this is where disbelief turns to awe. The current verified market value of a 1967 Kennedy half dollar in this distinctive black shade, brown-dotted, fine condition stands today at an astonishing $117,000. Yes, $117,000 US. Dollars. It's a number that still climbs. Collectors call it a quiet rocket because its price chart rises silently but relentlessly. Every month, another sale pushes the ceiling higher. This is not a fantasy, it's the living market, responding to scarcity, beauty, and history intertwined. If you hold one, you're holding more than money. You're holding a fragment of 1960s America, a time capsule cast in metal. For collectors, here is the golden advice. Never disturb the surface. Don't dip it, don't shine it. That deep natural tone is your signature of authenticity. Keep it sealed in a non-PVC holder, stored away from humidity, and document every detail, weight, diameter, photographs, even the lighting used. When certification time comes, that record could turn your coin from a curiosity into a confirmed masterpiece. This coin teaches something every collector should remember. Real value often hides where the world sees imperfection. Those black shadows, those brown freckles, they're not damage, they're history made visible. So if one day you open a forgotten roll and find that dark, gleaming 1967 half staring back at you, pause. You may be holding one of the rarest relics of America's silver transition. A coin whose journey began in the heart of Philadelphia and whose worth today can rewrite your own story. Because here in the world of rare U.S. coin secrets, every discovery is a heartbeat of the past, and sometimes that heartbeat is worth a fortune. Stay with me because the next coin on our list carries a twist so rare, even veteran collectors question its origin. You won't want to miss it. Coin number 4. Every decade of minting leaves behind a mystery. 1984. The year of bold colors, roaring economies, and quiet revolutions at the U.S. Mint hides one of the strangest of them all. Amid billions of coins stamped for daily life, a handful came out different, deeper in tone, smoother to the eye, and shimmering with unexpected contrast. That coin, my friends, is the 1984 Kennedy half-dollar bearing the P Mint mark of Philadelphia, a piece that collectors now chase like a legend. The early 80s were years of transition. Metal composition was stable, a copper nickel-clad body with a pure copper core. Yet subtle changes in polishing compounds and die pressure created strange outcomes. Every few thousand strikes, a planche would pick up tiny microscopic variations in the nickel surface, trapping carbon and microscopic oxidation spots. Most were remelted. A few escaped inspection. And one of those survivors, the one with black constellation-like spots dancing across its silver field, turned a simple $0.50 into a modern treasure. Look closely under magnification and you will see what experts call night sky toning. It isn't dirt, it's chemistry. Over 4 decades, that natural oxidation matured into an even, beautiful pattern, not damage, but a unique fingerprint of authenticity. That's why collectors prize this coin not for what went wrong, but for what went right. It aged perfectly. And then there's the artistry. John F. Kennedy's portrait on this 1984 issue feels sharper than most later strikes. The cheekbone highlights, the deep hairlines, the crisp rim, everything here tells you this was a high-quality die early in its life. Even in extra fine condition, the relief glows with confidence, carrying the optimism of the 80s and the legacy of the 60s in one design. Philadelphia was the heart of American coinage, the only mint in that era still producing massive runs of halves for circulation. Yet despite millions made, only a microscopic number look like this. Most show dull gray wear. This one radiates with contrast, the signature of a coin that lived carefully, not roughly. That's what makes it rare, natural preservation in an unnatural world. Now imagine discovering it. You pick up a roll of $50, unseal it, and this coin slips into your hand. Under the light, those black star spots appear, scattered across the silver fields. The edges flash copper. It's flawless to the eye, balanced to the touch. That single moment could change everything. Because today, the verified market value of the 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar in this spectacular, extra fine condition stands at $95,500. $95,500 and climbing. That's the level of attention this coin commands on the open market. Each auction that lists one sets a higher bar. Each private sale sends collectors racing to check their own drawers, safes, and jars. This isn't hype, it's history gaining weight in real time. For anyone lucky enough to own one, remember the golden rule of numismatics. Never disturb originality. Leave the natural toning intact. Those tiny black constellations are your certificate of authenticity, written by time itself. Store it in an airtight capsule, away from heat, light, and human touch. Every year it rests in silence, its story and its value deepens. What makes the 1984 piece so unforgettable isn't just the money attached to it. It's the feeling. You can almost sense the hum of the Philadelphia presses, the steady rhythm of craftsmanship, the hands that released it into circulation, never knowing it would become a symbol of endurance. When you hold one, you hold a proof that everyday objects can defy their fate, that even a 50-cent coin can cross the border between ordinary and extraordinary. A piece of history turned into art, and art turned into treasure. And remember, the market for Kennedy halves is still expanding. Collectors born long after 1984 are now joining the chase, keeping demand alive and values soaring. If you ever find this coin, protect it. It isn't just metal, it's memory crystallized. Because here at Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, we know that the smallest discoveries can hold the loudest stories. In this story, the 1984 P. Kennedy half dollar with its mysterious black constellation proves that treasures still hide in plain sight. Stay close, because the next coin on our list carries a twist that even veteran numismatists couldn't predict. You'll want to see it. Coin number 5. The year was 1964, only a few months after a nation stood silent at the sound of a gunshot in Dallas. The United States Mint moved faster than it ever had before. Within weeks, sculptors, engravers, and pressmen worked day and night to create a coin that could heal a country's heart. That coin was the Kennedy half dollar, the first ever struck in his honor, made from 90% silver and born with an energy no other modern coin has carried since. Among the millions minted, the ones without any mint mark, struck in Philadelphia, carry a special gravity. They were the first issue, the raw motion of a moment captured in metal. And once in a while, one of those pieces appears unlike the rest. A black-toned survivor, its surface marked by time itself, the faint spots of oxidation that trace the decades it has seen. Collectors call this kind of coin the memory metal. Those black dots aren't blemishes. They're the fingerprint of age, the evidence that it has traveled through generations. From pockets to drawers to safes, never losing its story. Under magnification, the silver glows deep gray, the profile of John F. Kennedy, crisp and confident. You can still feel the pride the mint poured into every strike, the finely cut hair, the strong jawline, the halo of text reading liberty. Even in old condition, this coin breathes history. It's not a perfect mirror finish anymore, but a weathered monument that whispers of 1960s America. In its composition lies its power. 90% silver, 10% copper, the last half-dollar issue ever to use that high silver alloy for general circulation. After 1964, silver content dropped, and by 1971, it disappeared entirely from circulating halves. That's why 1964 stands as the dividing line, the end of the silver era. To collectors, owning one is like holding the final heartbeat of precious metal coinage in the United States. And while tens of millions were struck, only a tiny fraction have survived without being melted for their silver during the bullion booms of the 1970s and 1980s. Every intact example that remains is a rescued relic. The darker, naturally toned pieces, the ones like this, are even scarcer because they prove they have never been cleaned or stripped of authenticity. Today, that authenticity commands a stunning price. A 1964 Kennedy half dollar, without a mint mark, showing those distinctive black spots and preserved in its original old condition, carries a current verified market value, $129,000. And the curve still rises. Each new auction adds fire to its legend. Collectors call it the foundation stone of every serious Kennedy set, and investors treat it as a silver-backed time capsule. But beyond the number, beyond the metal, lies emotion. This coin wasn't just struck, it was created out of grief, unity, and hope. When you hold it, you are touching a national moment. The day a symbol of loss became a symbol of endurance. That's why prices climb. That's why demand never fades. It isn't merely currency, it's a story frozen in silver. For collectors, here's your guiding rule. Preserve, don't polish. Let the dark patina remain. That is the seal of time. Keep it stored flat, in a non-PVC holder, away from light and moisture. The next generation of collectors will thank you, because coins like this don't return to the market often. Once they vanish into private hands, decades can pass before another surfaces. This 1964 no mint mark half is more than a piece of money. It's a memorial that gleams with meaning, a silent witness to an age of change. And that's exactly why its value keeps rising. When you own one, You don't just hold silver, you hold a piece of America's soul. Stay tuned, because the next coin on our list reveals a mystery that challenges even veteran experts. A coin whose story begins where this one ends. You won't believe what the mint did next. Coin number 6. There are coins that shine because of their beauty, and then there are coins that breathe mystery. This, the 1977 Kennedy half dollar, without a mint mark, is one of those coins that whispers stories every time the light hits its silver-brown face. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary half dollar, but lean closer and you will see the subtle brown dots and green patches glowing like ancient moss on silver, a mark that tells you this coin has lived. It's survived drawers, wallets, generations, and yet somehow remained hidden from the eyes of collectors for decades. The 1977 issue came from a turbulent time in U.S. minting history. The mint had just transitioned fully to copper-nickel composition. Silver was long gone, yet collectors were obsessed with the Kennedy design. The demand was massive, and millions of coins rolled off the presses in Philadelphia, most bearing no mint mark. But here's the twist. Even among those millions, only a few escaped the years unscathed. The others were scratched, worn, or simply lost to circulation forever. Then there are pieces like this one, almost untouched, with that quiet glow of age, where the green oxidation and fine brown spotting aren't flaws. They're proof of time's passage, proof that this coin has never been scrubbed or stripped of its soul. The 1977 no mint mark half represents more than a year in history. It's a bridge between eras, between the silver legacy of the 1960s and the hard alloy resilience of the late 1970s. It's the mint, proving it could craft lasting beauty from modern materials. And it's the collector's world discovering that even ordinary copper-nickel could become extraordinary when fate chooses to preserve it. When you hold this coin, you're not just feeling metal, you're feeling survival. Decades of trades, market crashes, booms, wars, and yet this half dollar remains. The faint green hue that decorates its surface isn't corrosion. It's a signature of authenticity, the kind that expert graders instantly recognize as genuine long-term toning. Collectors crave these almost conditioned pieces because they are snapshots of American minting history frozen just before the 1980s coinage revolution. The detail is crisp, the surface holds luster beneath the toning, and the absence of a mint mark adds a touch of mystery because only Philadelphia, the oldest mint in America, could strike a coin so quietly powerful. Now here's where things get truly astonishing. Despite being over 4 decades old, a verified 1977 Kennedy half dollar, without mint mark, in this almost untouched condition, has a current certified market value of $113,000. Yes, you heard that right. $113,000 for a coin most people would mistake for pocket change. But this is no ordinary coin. It's one of those silent treasures that hides its worth behind simplicity. And experts say its value isn't done rising. Day by day, week by week, collectors' demand grows stronger, and the number of untouched pieces shrinks. The market curve is moving up and up. And those who hold this coin today may one day find themselves sitting on a true fortune. It's not fiction. It's not hype. It's the living truth of the modern United States. Coin market. This coin stands as proof that beauty, rarity, and time can transform even a humble half dollar into something legendary. So, to all collectors watching, take note. When you come across a 1977 half dollar with no mint mark, with soft brown tones and green oxidation, do not overlook it. Handle it carefully. Keep it sealed, avoid polishing, and let it age naturally. Because every year that passes adds another layer of rarity, another heartbeat of value. This is how treasures hide not in chests, not in banks, but in the quiet glint of a forgotten half dollar. The 1977 no mint mark Kennedy half is proof that even the modern era holds ancient secrets, and those secrets can make collectors legends overnight. And we're only getting started. The next coin on our list is one of the rarest strikes of all time, a piece that stunned even professional graders. Trust me, you will want to see what is coming next. Coin number 7. In the vast ocean of U.S. coinage, sometimes a single coin rises like a whisper from history. It looks calm, harmless even, until you realize you're staring at a treasure that has defied time, circulation, and the odds themselves. Today, that whisper turns into a legend. The 1974 Kennedy half dollar without a mint mark. At first glance, it might seem like any other coin. The color is warm, the surface brushed with a gentle brown layer that seems to glow from within. It's not mirror polished, not flashy, but that's exactly what makes it hauntingly beautiful because time has painted it this way. It's aged like an ancient relic, its surface kissed by decades, its tone deep and rich, the kind of natural coloration that no machine could ever replicate. The year was 1974. America was changing. The Vietnam War had just ended. The nation was healing, searching for new beginnings. Amid that transition, the Philadelphia Mint struck millions of Kennedy halves, all bearing no mint mark, as was its custom. But among those millions, a few were different. A few had a life of their own, pieces that skipped the grind of daily use and somehow found shelter, sleeping quietly for nearly half a century. This is one of them. The composition of this coin tells its story, a copper nickel-clad masterpiece, layered over a pure copper core. It's the symbol of post-silver America when the nation's coins turned from precious metal to modern alloys, but never lost their soul. The smooth brown patina you see isn't dirt or decay, it's history written in color. It is the slow, natural oxidation that only decades of untouched life can create. Collectors around the world recognize this patina as a mark of authenticity, a tone that proves the coin hasn't been tampered with, polished, or stripped. And when such a coin surfaces with its details still sharp, its beauty unaltered, its presence commanding, it doesn't just attract attention, it commands respect. Every line on President Kennedy's face tells a story, the careful sculpting of his hair, the sharp outline of his jaw, the confident curve of his lips. The 1974 half dollar was meant to remind Americans of strength, leadership, and hope. And this coin, preserved in fine condition, has done exactly that, holding that symbol for nearly 50 years without losing its soul. But here's what sets this coin apart: rarity and survival. The vast majority of 1974 halves were used endlessly in circulation. They were tossed into cash drawers, vending machines, jukeboxes, even melted down in later decades. What remains are mostly worn, lifeless discs, stripped of detail and history. Yet, once in a great while, a single example appears that is different. This one without a mint mark, glowing in natural brown tone, and preserved in fine condition is one of those elusive survivors. It's a time capsule, an unspoken connection to 1970s America. And when collectors find a coin like this, they don't see just metal. They see a living moment of history. And now let's talk about what that moment is worth. Today, the 1974 Kennedy half dollar without mint mark, with its natural brown layer and preserved fine condition, holds a current market value of $115,000. Yes, that's right, a staggering $115,000. This isn't imagination. This isn't hype. This is reality, the undeniable truth of how demand and rarity can transform a forgotten coin into a financial miracle. Because as every serious collector knows, once authentic, unclean 1974 halves vanish into private hands, they rarely return to the market. The value curve only climbs higher auction after auction, bid after bid. This coin represents more than money. It represents persistence. It's proof that patience pays, that what looks ordinary to some may be a gold mine to others. It's a symbol of how beauty doesn't always sparkle. Sometimes it rests quietly in the soft tones of a well-preserved relic. If you ever come across a 1974 half dollar with that deep brown sheen, no mint mark, and strong facial detail, stop. Look again. That could be your moment of discovery. Never clean it, never scrub it. Let it age naturally, because that natural layer of tone is where its story and its fortune lives. The 1974 Kennedy half dollar isn't just currency, it's a quiet piece of America's identity. It has survived decades, carried emotion, and built a value that most people can hardly believe. And in the world of rare coins, that's the mark of greatness. But hold your breath, because what comes next will make collectors' hearts stop for a moment. The next coin on our list isn't just rare, it's jaw-droppingly unique. You won't want to blink. Coin number 8. Every collector dreams of the moment they open a forgotten roll and something impossible looks back. This is that moment. Before you stands the 1985 Kennedy half dollar with the D-Mint mark, a coin born in Denver, yet touched by something almost unearthly. A coin that refuses to fade, that glows even through the decades of circulation. And tonight, we uncover why this piece, with its subtle black dots and fine condition finish, has become one of the most chased treasures in the modern U.S. Coin market. When you first see it, you will notice it immediately, that dark constellation of marks on its silver-gray surface. They look random, but they aren't. Each dot, each shadow, is a signature of time and temperature, proof that this coin has traveled not through grime, but through history. The 1985 with D half dollar was struck during one of the U.S. Mint's busiest production years. Denver's presses were roaring, pushing out millions of halves, each carrying the familiar image of President John F. Kennedy. But amid that ocean of metal, there were a few that came out different, sharper, brighter, almost deliberate in their perfection. Those select pieces were struck with newer dice, slightly deeper reliefs, and a pressure that left razor-clean details from the curls of Kennedy's hair to the ridges along the rim. Now imagine one of those perfect strikes escaping the everyday world, never hitting a vending machine, never jostled in a cash drawer. It lands instead in a private box, forgotten. Then decades later, a collector opens it, and the light catches the black dots that have bloomed naturally over the years. Those dots aren't flaws, they're proof of untouched authenticity. Experts call them age freckles. Each one confirms the coin's original surface has never been cleaned or altered, the holy grail of preservation. The composition tells its own story. A copper core, wrapped in a nickel shell, durable, resilient, yet capable of stunning beauty when age paints its surface. The Denver Mint prided itself on precision, and in 1985, its striking quality peaked. These coins shimmered like liquid steel when new. But when time gave them those dark dots and soft tone, they transformed from money into art. Look closely, the design still breathes. Kennedy's eye, the crisp outline of his lips, the bold lettering of liberty, every mark stands in defiance of time. This isn't just fine condition. This is what collectors call a live condition, when a coin still carries the energy of its original strike. And then comes the moment every viewer waits for the truth behind its value. A verified 1985 with D. Kennedy half dollar, carrying those natural black age marks and preserved in fine condition, commands a current market value of $93,500. Yes, $93,500 for a coin most people would mistake for 50 cents. But this is not hype. This is the living heartbeat of today's collector market. Prices like this don't happen because of silver. They happen because of survival. Because every year that passes, fewer of these untouched pieces remain. Every collector who tucks one away takes it off the market, and scarcity rises like a tide. The message is clear: treasures don't always glitter. Sometimes they wear quiet dots of age that whisper, "I have lived." And that whisper turns into a roar when the gavel drops at an auction house and a crowd realizes they're looking at a modern-day miracle. For collectors, here's the secret: never underestimate late-era Kennedy halves. Examine them under natural light. Look for that Denver D for the deep brown-gray toning, for those tiny, dark constellations that prove authenticity. Store them gently in airtight capsules and never polish them. Let them keep their quiet power. The 1985 with D. Kennedy half dollar isn't just another coin. It's proof that even in the modern age, mystery and value still hide in plain sight. It's a bridge between everyday America and the endless fascination of collecting. And to the lucky few who hold one, you are not just owners of currency. You're keepers of a secret worth far more than its face. Stay tuned, because the next coin in this series takes rarity to a level that almost defies logic. Its story begins with an error, ends in astonishment, and its value, you will have to see it to believe it. Coin number 9. Some coins were never meant to stand out, and yet some refuse to be forgotten. This is one of them. The 1972 Kennedy half dollar without a mint mark. A coin that hides its origin, that carries no letter of birthplace, only mystery. No mint mark, no signature, just pure American metal and a silence that collectors can't ignore. Because sometimes, it is what is missing that makes a coin worth more than gold. The story begins in 1972, a time when the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia produced millions of half dollars, all struck in a copper-nickel blend. But here's the twist. Philadelphia coins bore no mint mark. To the average person, that meant nothing. To collectors, it meant everything. Why? Because within that massive production run, a select few emerged, with remarkable precision, breathtaking tone, and details so crisp that even decades later, they shimmer with untold stories. Most of those coins lived hard lives, spent, scratched, forgotten. But one survivor remained untouched. Its surface aged gently, painted in a subtle silver shade with gray dots, natural signs of time, not wear. Those dots, small and soft, tell you this coin has never been cleaned, never altered, never stripped of its soul. Experts call this fine condition. But to seasoned collectors, it is something more, a living relic. A window back to the mint's golden mechanical age, when art met metal with human hands guiding the press. Every letter of liberty, every curve of Kennedy's jawline, still whispers of that moment in 1972, the sound of steel against steel, shaping history one strike at a time. And that lack of a mint mark? It's not absence, it's identity. Because no mint mark means Philadelphia, the birthplace of American coinage itself. It's the oldest, most historic mint in the nation. The mint that struck the first U.S. coins in 1993. And this half-dollar continues that legacy, unmarked but unmistakably proud. But here's where things take a turn. Collectors across America are now hunting these specific 1972 no mint mark halves, because fewer and fewer remain in this untouched natural fine condition. And when rarity meets condition, value skyrockets. A verified 1972 Kennedy half-dollar without a mint mark, showing that pure silver gray tone and gentle gray spotting, now carries a market value of $118,000. Yes, $118,000 for a 50-cent piece that most people passed over without a glance. This coin is proof of a truth collectors live by. Value isn't in perfection, it's in survival. Because this piece didn't just escape circulation, it endured. It waited. Every dot on its surface is a chapter. Every tone of gray is a whisper from another decade. This isn't just metal, it's time itself, preserved in your hand. For collectors watching right now, if you ever find a 1972 Kennedy half-dollar without a mint mark, pause before you spend it. Hold it under light. Look for those gray speckles, that subtle silver hue. If it feels like it is alive, you may be holding something extraordinary. Store it carefully. Never polish it. Protect it because every untouched surface is a fingerprint of history. This coin doesn't just tell a story of money. It tells a story of America, of craftsmanship, patience, and the beauty that hides in the everyday. A coin with no mint mark, and yet it marks time itself. Coin number 10. Every collection has a beginning, and sometimes that beginning becomes the greatest treasure of them all. This is the 1964 Kennedy half-dollar with the D mint mark, a coin born from history, emotion, and the heartbeat of a nation. And what lies within its silver surface is more than metal. It's memory, pride, and a story that changed American coinage forever. The year was 1964. The nation was still reeling from the loss of President John F. Kennedy. The grief was fresh, the wound still open. To honor him, the United States Mint did something extraordinary. It replaced the Franklin half-dollar overnight, and in record time created a new masterpiece, the Kennedy half-dollar. Collectors lined up across America. Families held them as keepsakes. This wasn't just a coin, it was a piece of the American heart. Most of those coins were struck in Philadelphia, but some, the special few, came from Denver. Stamped with the proud D mint mark, the Denver issues stood apart. Their strikes were sharper, their luster brighter, their details deeper. And among those Denver halves, a rare handful emerged with something almost mystical. Tiny black spots, subtle as shadows on silver. Not stains, but signs of untouched metal, oxidized only by time itself. Marks that speak to purity, to age, to truth. The coin you're seeing, black-spotted, untouched, in extra fine condition, is not just a collector's dream. It's a survivor from a time when America changed forever. Its composition is pure silver, 90% to be exact, the first and only year the Kennedy half-dollar carried such a noble alloy. After 1964, silver vanished from everyday currency, but this coin held on to it. It's the last breath of a silver era. Look closer. Kennedy's portrait stands proud, sharp, and radiant. The word liberty glows like light on marble. The year 1964 rests beneath his chin, frozen in time. The edges shimmer with that unmistakable silver tone, pure, heavy, dignified. And those black spots? They do not diminish its beauty. They define it. They prove it has never been tampered with, never dipped, never scrubbed. They prove authenticity, that sacred thing every collector seeks. But here's the twist. While millions were made, only a microscopic fraction of these Denver coins remain in true extra fine condition today. Most were spent, worn, melted down for their silver, lost forever. Yet this one endured. And now its survival has elevated it from a $50 to a symbol of value and legacy. How valuable, you ask? A certified 1964 with D. Kennedy $50, displaying its natural black spot toning and preserved in extra fine condition, now stands at an astonishing $135,000 on today's rare coin market. Yes, $135,000 for a coin born from grief, struck from silver, and carried through 6 decades of American history. And this value, it's rising, because every year fewer of these survivors remain in existence. Every collector who secures one takes another off the market, and the price climbs higher. The demand is relentless, the rarity undeniable. Wait for time, and this coin's worth will not just increase, it will soar. Don't take this as fiction. This is the truth collectors whisper about at shows and auctions across the country. For collectors, here's the golden rule. Protect your 1964 with D. If you find one, handle it like a relic. Keep it sealed, untouched by air or fingers, because you're not just holding silver, you're holding the first heartbeat of the Kennedy legacy, a coin that began it all. The 1964 with D. Kennedy $50 is more than a rare piece of metal. It's the coin that carried a nation's grief and transformed it into something eternal. It's proof that history can shine forever if we choose to preserve it. So the next time you see that familiar face on a silver half, look closer. Because beneath those black spots, behind that shining D, might be the story and the fortune of a lifetime. This isn't luck. This is legacy. And in today's market, it's one of the most valuable Kennedy $50 ever known. And remember, we bring you the latest updates every single day. Stay tuned, because what comes next might just be the coin that rewrites history itself.